Are you struggling to grow your Pinterest account? Then this video is for you. I'm going to share with you exactly what I did to get my own Pinterest account to over 1 million monthly viewers, and this has been constantly for the past, I think, more than a year now. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the video. If you're new around here, my name is Madeline and I help content creators start a blog and grow their income through it. And if you don't know already, Pinterest is a great place to start to build up your traffic on your blog. So that's how I started my own blog, cappuccinoandfashion.com, and that's how I grew it, especially in the very beginning. So I'm going to share with you 8 tips that have worked for me to grow my Pinterest account to where it is today. Okay, tip number 1, and don't come at me for this, is to pin consistently. I know everybody says this and you're probably tired of hearing be consistent, but it's true. That's why everyone says it, is because it works. So if you do want to see results, you do need to pin consistently on Pinterest, and with that comes creating content consistently on your own blog. So what I recommend, especially if you're just starting out, is to create 2 to 3 pins for each blog post that you write. So you create them, you can use something like Canva, that's what I use, or PicMonkey, that's a really good one as well. So you can create your pins on there, and you can create 2 or 3 for each blog post that you write, and then you go ahead and pin them on Pinterest to multiple boards. But yeah, for best results, you do want to be consistent with it. Number 2 is to learn the basics of Pinterest. So if you don't know what to put in your profile description, if you don't know how to verify your website, how to enable rich pins, and just kind of how to find keywords and everything that goes into Pinterest, just kind of like the basics, the very basics behind your Pinterest account, then you need to learn those. So that's what I would recommend focusing on a little bit in the beginning, just so that you can kind of get a grasp on how it all works. And if you need any help with this, I do have a free course. It's called Pinterest Made Easy, and this walks you through all the basics that you need to know to kind of set up your Pinterest and get it started on the right track. So I will link that down below if you need any help with that. Number 3 is create eye-catching designs on Canva. So again, you can use the free Canva editor. It works amazing. It has lots of graphics and photos and fonts, so it's really great to use to create your pins and also any other graphic designs that you need for your blog, like your logo. I currently use the Canva Pro version because it just has a lot more options, especially if you're looking to become, more professional in your blogging journey. I do use the Pro version now, but I did start on the free one, so that's amazing if you want to start with that. And I would say try to go in your own Pinterest feed and see what kind of pins kind of catch your eye. What in your feed of like millions of pins, what is the one thing that kind of draws you to a pin? Is it the fact that it's like a white background with a bold font, or is it the colors, is it the picture? Just kind of try to see what catches your eye, especially for things that are in your niche. So yeah, basically what you want to do is whenever someone goes onto Pinterest and searches something and they get all these results, you want your pin to stand out against all the other ones, because that's what's going to make people want to click on it and obviously go to your blog as well and drive traffic to it. So try to spend a bit of time to figure out what sort of design would work well in your niche, and also what could you add to your pins to make them more eye-catching, to make them more interesting, more enticing for your readers. And to go along with that, my 4th tip is to use bold fonts and colors that stand out. So if you create a pin that's got very tiny font, or it's got all kind of script handwritten font, that's going to be really hard to read, especially on mobile devices. And if you don't know this yet, I think I saw this, I can't remember on exactly what website, but I saw a statistic that I think over 80% of Pinterest users browse on Pinterest on their mobile phones. So if your pins are really tiny, then they're probably not even gonna notice them on their phones. So you do want to make them vertical pins, so longer pins. You want to make them stand out, you want to make them bold, you want the fonts to be big because otherwise they might not be able to read what's on your pin. And it's absolutely fine to use handwritten fonts as long as it's just a word or two. So don't make the whole text on your pin handwritten, because that can get really hard to read. Number 5 is you can go ahead and brand your pins if you want to. It's not absolutely necessary, but it does help to kind of bring more awareness to your brand. So if you've got something like a fancy logo for your blog, or just a really cute one that you created yourself in Canva, then you can go ahead and use that on your pins. Or you can brand your pins at the bottom and you can just say yourblogName.com. So that's a way that you can do it. Or you can also brand your pins through the colors that you use. So if you have a color palette of, let's say, 2 or 3 colors that you always use on your blog, in your pins, and on your social media in general, then you can use those colors to brand your pins and make them kind of more recognizable in your Pinterest feed. But at the same time, I wouldn't stress about using the same colors all the time, because sometimes it's nice to experiment and see what people prefer. You never know what pins are going to go viral. So just experiment with them, and the longer you keep creating pins and the more consistent you are, then the higher of a chance of you to go viral, obviously. And it also kind of helps you see what works and what doesn't on your own account. My 6th tip is to make multiple pins per post, and also for your freebies. So if you don't already have freebies on your blog, you might consider making them, because they help you build up your email list. And if you don't already know, your email list is one of the best assets that you can have on your blog. My own blog started growing the second that I started kind of focusing more on growing my email list. So if you can create a freebie that's really valuable to your audience, something that kind of shows that you understand their struggles, something you can help them with, then your blog is going to start picking up, because that's what people want. They just want help, they want to find good information, and they want to get their problems solved through your content. And freebies are a great place to start with that. And in order to promote those freebies, you will want to create pins on Pinterest. And what I recommend is, once you start figuring out or once you start seeing something that takes off, like a blog post suddenly starts picking up traffic, go ahead and create more pins for that post. So just different ones, not the same one. Don't just repin the same pin over and over again, because Pinterest doesn't like that anymore. They much more favor the fresh content. So go ahead and create new pins for old posts to kind of revive them, and create new pins for all of your freebies, like once in a while as well. That's going to really help build up that traffic. Number 7, kind of tying up with my previous point, is help your readers. So if you can understand your target audience and kind of see what their struggles are, what's something you could help them with, how can you provide them value through your content, then you will do well. Because that's why people come to blogs. They just want either to get information, to get some ideas on something they might not know how to do, or maybe they just want to be entertained. So that's a good value you can offer as well. Just kind of figure out what your audience is looking for and provide that value. And if you can translate that onto Pinterest, people will see that and kind of come back to your blog as well. Number 8 is give people a reason to click, because just because you put your pin out there and it gets maybe a lot of impressions, it doesn't mean people are actually going to click on it and go to your blog. So make it clickable and enticing, and make people see why they should click on your pin to go through your blog. And you know, see all the info that you have on there. Because what I've noticed from my pins, the pins that are just like a pretty picture, they don't convert very well. Like, not a lot of people go through to my blog, even though maybe a lot of people see it and they save it on their own boards. It doesn't mean I'm going to get a lot of traffic from it, because if it's not something people want to go and read, or go and find out more about because they're curious, then you're not going to get traffic from that. And to be honest, just having impressions on your Pinterest account doesn't mean that much. Like, it means a lot of people are seeing your pins, so that's a good sign. But you also want the people to save those pins, and more importantly, to go to your blog from those pins, because ultimately I think we're all on Pinterest to get traffic to our blogs, to our Instagrams, to our email list. So you do want to convert that traffic from Pinterest to your own platforms. If you're struggling with your Pinterest views and maybe you notice that your pins are going down and decreasing, there are a few reasons why that might be happening, and I have written a whole blog post all about this, about how to grow your Pinterest to over 1 million viewers, and also the reasons why your views might be dropping, and you might be surprised about some of these. So you do want to go ahead and read this if you're struggling with that. I will link that blog post down below. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know where you're at in your Pinterest journey. I would love to kind of see where you're at and how I can help you maybe. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having a good day. Bye guys.